Alright, so this is video one. Here we go. We'll take the top end apart, hopefully. I remember seeing something that said to use a piece of cardboard, punch holes in it to keep all your bolts organized, so we're going to try to do that. But then I also just saw a picture where they just loosened everything and picked all of that up without drawing a picture of it. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to start with just breaking things loose. I get this nifty, I don't know what it came from. My dad had it, 10mm Honda branded wrench. So I'm just going to start turning nuts, turning wrenches. Here we go. Some of these are the heads of bolts, and some of these are nuts on the top of studs, which is interesting to me, but that's an 8mm, of course. So far, everything's breaking loose pretty easily. This is the first engine I've ever taken apart, at all. So I'm gonna be taking my time as much as I can. And that's part of also why there's a video being made of all of it, because I'm sure at some point I'm going to have a question about what I did, and I'll be able to go back and look at it. And I've already stopped using that special Honda wrench because it didn't fit in there. So, hell with that. Go with regular tools. And if I'm doing something completely wrong, at some point I will figure it out and I will talk about it, because that's how you do things. And still early in the process, so I hope that the audio is even working. I should probably mention that I have the climber book. I have printed out copy of I don't know, that's the beginning of chapter 1. This is called the CB 750 shop manual. And then I've also bought Honda Man's book. So I have like all of the resources that I could find in print. So I'm hoping I'm going to be able to not ruin everything is the goal right now. So all of them did tell me to get see how they worded it, cam. I had to rotate the crank to align the timing marks on the end of the cam with the joint here and the keyways facing up. So I did do that like I was supposed to, like a good boy. So this is all hand tight now, except for that one. For some reason it's a little slippery, so there we go. Alright, that's all loose. Also, the cam tensioner is out, so there shouldn't be any tension on that chain. There's a little bit. There we go. Cam tensioner is out. Oh, and I did read one book told me to loosen these while I'm here, so let's do that. Of course, it's going to turn. That's good. And that's good. Okay. Timing marks back where they're supposed to be. Chain is loose. Alright. So those are loosened but not coming out. Alright. Let's do this. It's my favorite little wrench, said my wife. Either bought me or won it at an auction or something like that. It's one of those goofy little sets you keep it in the plastic, and it's the only thing I've ever kept all in one place, so I like it a lot. Alright. Got this guy, which is going to come in handy at some point. I'm sure. I got non-impact bits for it because that's all they had at Harbor Freight at the time. I haven't been bothered enough by that to go and buy the right ones online. Alright. So here we go. That's got a lot more tension in it than I thought it would. Alright. Throw it on the floor. Good job. Jeez Louise. Now, nobody explicitly told me to do this in the books, but it seems to make sense that I take these all out first. Let's get the right wrench here. There we go. Here's the right wrench. It was a 9mm, folks, which is almost useless when it comes to wrenches. I'm just going to set things down in the vicinity of where they go until we get this apart. We'll make holes and tie things. Yeah, so that is a bandage. The bike I'm riding now while I'm working on this one is one of my dad's collection, which is a late model. I think it's a 19 Royal Enfield Continental GT, little 650cc twin. It scoots though, and I've been riding it all year. Something just clunked. I think that's because this valve is tight and I didn't loosen the rockers. Like these are all loose, that one's tight. So I think when I loosened that bolt and it shifted, that's what that was about. Wowzers. Anyway, I've been riding that 650. I rode it all winter when it was dry and got a lot of crap about it from other people. And the only thing lasting with the salt was that the chain looked like absolute hell. So the guys at work have been giving me all kinds of crap about the chain on my bike being rusted. So I said, you know what, I'm going home and I'm going to wire wheel it and all covered in lube. So I did that, and of course in the process stuck my arm right into the muffler, like you do. Alright, so I took those out, but that's not moving, so what? Oh, there it goes. Should I do the no-no? Okay. So yeah, like I said, none of the books explicitly said to do this, but kind of not getting the camshaft out with those in. So, took what we call a swag, a scientific wild ass guess, and I'm taking them out. Also because I have a multi-decade history of just taking things apart without knowing what I'm doing, and it usually works out okay. So we're going to keep working on that principle. Interesting to me is that while I'm doing this, oil has started dripping out of things where it wasn't previously, and I think that's because these are all a little separated now and the oil's coming out of them. But like I said, I'm not an engine guy, so I don't really know what I'm doing. This does not want to come out, and my hands are too slippery to get to it. So, should be able to push right there. Doesn't want to move. Okay. sure I'm doing this exactly wrong, but hey, I'm doing it. I'm going to take these all out, and then we'll pop the shafts out here. And I'm told that is something I have to do. So these two right there. So this bike is a 1976 CB750F Super Sport. I bought it 2003. So that's 22 years ago this year. And let me see. It has some amount of miles on it, so on the left, so I can't really get to it right now. Well, that's just going to push out. Look at that. One rocker. You can go. Myself a lot of them. Go right there. One rocker. Two rocker. Slide that back on there. So you two stay together. So what was I saying? 76. I'm gonna have to loosen that. It's a 76 CB750 Super Sport. This doesn't mean much to anybody, but it's my first bike that I ever bought, and then so it follows that it'd be the first bike that I ever rebuild. I've had it apart many times, so that doesn't want to release enough to give me. We're gonna have to bang on that, but they said I might. Bought it for like $400. It was under a tarp behind a guy's apartment. It owes me nothing, and a couple years ago it started doing this kind of mild clunking thing in my feet in certain gears and under certain conditions, and I said, you know what, I don't want this bike to blow up. Everything moved when I took that out of there. Look at that. So I don't want this bike to blow up, so I'm going to take it apart and see what I can do. So here we go. Got all the resources I could find. Come out of there, you little. There we go. And that was there. That was there. This was there. With its washer. With its washer. With its washer. With its washer. All right. It's nice and loose. Okay. So what was I saying? Got it all apart. Out of the frame. The engine came out of the frame. It's all broken down. Everything's in a bin over here, just off camera. Clutch basket, suspension, well, the rear shocks anyway. Actually, the rocker covers in there. The generator cover, that cover, the clutch cover, the points, and all that came out. It was quite a thing. But I've done that before. I took it all apart once upon a time. A man by the name, his road name and his online handle is Lady Doctor. There are many stories. Oh, throw that on the floor. Yikes. There's a lot of stories how he got that name. The one that keeps him the safest is that he built a motorcycle once called the Lady. And since he was always taking care of her, he was the Lady Doctor. You can draw any conclusions you'd like to draw other than that. But he is an awesome guy. And he's one of the original guys in the Honda chopper community. And that's a rocker arm on the floor. Come back here. Yikes. And he, one year, I think it was Christmas time, gave me I ended up working on it over the winter, so that's why I think it was Christmas time. He gave me a custom frame that was a Santee kind of a frame, which is something that they built for Honda choppers back in the day, where you take your stock, everything, swing arm and your neck, and as much as you want to use, and so you don't have to buy all the parts. You can use a lot of your stock parts and build a chopper out of it. And we started trying to build it, and things came up and we didn't end up getting to do it. But I had this bike torn completely apart, ready to be a donor for that thing. And like I said, it didn't end up working out. I slammed everything back together in a rush, wired it enough that it would run, and drove it around with this. It's the sketchiest wiring you ever saw. Alright. But it ran. So we got that all done. Let me see what the next step is. Remove rocker arm assembly, screw the mounting, remove the shaft as shown. Yeah, did all that. Remove the cam chain from the sprocket. Pull the cam out of the holder. That's what that one says. This one says, yeah. Remove two cam chain I already removed. Mounting rubbers from the crankcase and remove the cam chain tensioner roller assembly. That skipped a couple steps there, didn't it? Yes, it did. Use special tool to loosen the 6mm mounting bolts on both sides. No, we didn't do that. Loosening sequence of the mounting nuts is performed in the reverse sequence. Supposed to do those in order, folks. Again, guess I didn't do that. Mark the rockers. Oh, there you go. Honda Man finally gets to, if you've not already done so, remove the cam bearing caps. So we did that. These caps are matched to the bearings, so number them, number 1 through 4. With, well, they're organized here. I'll mark them later. Cam must come out to free the head. Remove the 2 bolts from the cam sprocket. These bolts are special. They have finer threads. Okay, 0 through 6, which this is not. This is an F, not a K. So those are the same. They're different on K0 through 6. Mark the sprocket hole where that was mounted. I don't have to deal with that. Technically, it will run okay. Slip the cam sprocket off the cam shoulder. Alright, so I gotta get these bolts out of here without dropping them into the engine. Ready, folks? I'm gonna drop them into the engine. No, I'm not. I'm gonna get my magnet right now. See if we can put this here so if I drop it, it goes to the magnet instead of into the engine. Although I'm taking there, see? I am taking the engine completely apart, so I might get away with it if I drop it. It's interesting to me that it told me to position the cam this way. I don't know if this is on the camera clearly or not, but one of the bolts was way up here. The other one's tucked down under the line of the engine. So I'm gonna roll this back just a touch so I can get to this bolt. I'm gonna stick my magnet in here because that's what I've been doing. I really prefer not to drop this. I didn't drop it. Look at that. So those look to be identical, which is what should be, because like I said, this is an F, not a K. I'm talking now so I don't have to think about what I'm doing because this scares me. Alright, that's there. Let's get this, lift this, and I just walk it out, I guess? Or can I just, has this moved enough? I can take the chain off of it. Yeah, probably. Chain off of it. There we go. Carefully, in all caps in Honda Man's book, it said carefully I don't know what kind of gorillas he thinks is doing this, but as carefully as I can. It's not made out of paper mache. There we go. Now, set this gently here, and then I'm going to stick something in there while I go get a piece of wire. I'm going to get something to clip onto that. And as the fates would have it, I just did a bunch of wiring around here, so I've got some copper wire. I'll put copper wire there. And it's just enough to keep it from falling down in there. And we're gonna put you into, got some throwaway bolts here. Let me see if these will fit. Now, well, I'll just stick these into some of the engine fins and not hurt anything because the wire's copper. Alright, now this thing is wiggly. Alright, well, that one came and moved right off of there. Alright, we are in new territory now. There's cobweb in there? That's just wonderful. Alright. Well, if anyone ever watches this, I want you to know I now officially have no idea what I'm doing. There's a number on there. It says 50.6.26, whatever the world that means. This was on there that way. The wider one facing the back, the skinny one facing the front. The oil passage is there. Alright, I will stop looking at this now. I'm going to get another rag to set those on. Stand by. Let's put tools on that side. Try to keep this side just to parts. That's that one. And this one. Give it a little kiss. Moving around. Interesting. Definitely not prying on this one. There we go. That guy stayed there. Can I get... Oh god, was it just a plug? I thought that was some kind of a screen or something. There's nothing there, it's just a plug. Alright. Oh, and this came out of there. I don't know how I feel about that. I'll leave it in there. All the rest of them stayed in. The cylinders. This one came out in the head, I mean. Whew, baby. Alright. Let's pause the video. Which I need a ladder to do. Amateur setup. Pause the video, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I did some reading. Turns out the thing what I have to loosen in order was not anything to do with the Valvetrain. It's these guys. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Beautiful. So we're going to do that now. This one is full of all kinds of goop and debris, so we're going to get that out of there. Now, these bolts that I can see and get to, I've been hitting with Croyle for the last little bit, actually. Yeah, I've been hitting them with Croyle for the last little bit to loosen them up, because they're going to be, there's these 4 here, and then there's 4 more back in there, which I guess go to the next layer. Again, I don't know anything. So, enough of that. Let's get my tools put back where they go. Get the next tool, which is a number 12 millimeter, yes. Now I gotta loosen them in the order that it says here, and of course I have the engine on the bench opposite of what the book shows. So book now upside down, and it said do them in reverse order. So I have to read the numbers in reverse order, upside down. Cool. This isn't ridiculous at all. Alright. The first one I get to do is this one that was the dirtiest. So let's see what happens. I should probably have a bigger wrench than this little 1/4-inch hammer. Oh, there she goes. That loosened right up, didn't it? What I should have done was organize all this crap a little better, because once I get this stuff moving around, once all this stuff starts moving around, I'm not going to want to have to find room for it. So that's 16, that's 15, this is 14. That was 14. 13 is this one. It's 13. 12. This was the prettiest looking of them. Of the 4 that are exposed, that is. Come on, baby. Okay. So what I'm doing is doing this by hand and looking in there and making sure that the nut is moving and not anything underneath it, because I don't know what that would mean. So 11 is this one. 11. That was 11. We're going to 10. And then this makes a certain bit of amount of sense. It's kind of zigzagging. So that was 10. Now we need 9. Which is upside down. It looks like a 6. That's 9. 9. 8 is right across. 8. 7. 7. There's 6. These 2 in the middle are kind of gunky too. One of the other fun things about my bike is that, oh, that's tight. One of the fun things about my bike was that the front brake stay, here's some more Croyle just for good measure. The front brake caliper, like was where the steel line I think went into the brake caliper. No, it wasn't either. It was the fender. The front fender on the side that the brake line goes through was bent or something weird, and it dug a groove in the tire on the front tire once. And so my answer to that was to just remove the front fender. So the middle 2 cylinders have gotten more than their share of gunk thrown at them. All right, this is. Oh, yeah. Now I've got another thumb. That one's sticky. And we did good. It didn't break loose at the bottom. Man, that's gonna hurt for a little while. So that was 9, 8, 7. That was 6, 5, 4, 3. 2 is going to be the last of the sketchy ones. Let's see how we do. Oh yeah, beautiful. 2. Need the socket back, please. There we go. 2. And last but not least, this guy. That's 1. Everybody should be loose now. Cool. Now we just gotta take them all out. The tools go in the toolbox. Well, let's do something with the Valvetrain. Should be doing more for protecting that camshaft, but Now, foil you're gonna need. Slide you back there. How pretty like my wife, who is probably the most intelligent person I know, and if not that, the most tenacious. She's been with me for 20. Should know this number. This is 27 years this year. Suggested that I print out a picture from the manual of like that thing, the valve cover gap. Like print out a picture of the top of the bike and put the bolts through that. Print out a picture of the Valvetrain and put the bolts through that. I should have printed out a picture of this to put the bolt in. So, have I done that? Of course not, because my wife is my wife and I am me. So she has great ideas and I remember very little. Let's do another towel on the bench. I'll show you another piece of cardboard. Let's just got a couple of packages of red rags. So we're just gonna use red rags. So yeah, found this in the garage of my old man's house. So best stuff there is apparently. It's Croyle. I guess I didn't realize that camera is upside down. We are using the selfie camera, so that'll do that. My first time at all of this stuff. Okay. Man, let me smack that thumb. You know, my hands get a lot of abuse, and obviously my arm does too. I think I'm developing arthritis in my right middle finger, and I'm constantly wailing on things and smacking my left hand around. Most of my scars on my body are on my left hand because I'm right-handed. And when I'm not thinking about and messing with motorcycles, I play bass guitar, which requires the use of both hands simultaneously. So the fact that I'm rough on my hands doesn't really bode well for that hobby, but try and stop me. Some people would argue that driving a motorcycle at all is probably not the best for your health, but people who say that often don't ride motorcycles themselves. I'm going to need, I believe there to be a washer in there. Maybe not. Oh yeah, there is. I would like that washer to come out, please. Right back. At this cheapo pick set that I bought at a flea market, and it was labeled as a dental pick set, which, I mean, they look like dental picks, but it's Pakistani steel and they're really sketchy looking. I would never put these in the mouth of anyone I cared about. But through road dirt and engine gunk to get a washer unstuck from a Honda, I think it'll be okay. This is gonna fight me all the way out. Of course, this is covered in everything it could be covered in. There it goes. Beautiful. Just 3 more like that. There. Oh, this one's right on the edge of the thing. There's a lip in there where the washer hangs over the lip, so this one and my finger will fit into there with the tool. So this one should be easier. Haha, famous last words. And voila. Beautiful. Man, it still hurts. Make an adjustment to the window. So, I don't think that these are things that need to be replaced with new. They didn't have torque to yield back in the 70s, and they're not stripped or broken. Some of the case bolts, well, all of the case bolts are going to get replaced. I'm currently shopping that around because, yeah, GIS cross threads, kind of a foreboding thing to call them, GIS cross. Of course, in Japanese it probably means something else. But every one of those bolt heads that hold the cases on, as anyone who's ever worked on anything Japanese knows, they're kind of, I won't say a nightmare, but they're not the best thing to try and work with. And I don't have a proper JIS cross screwdriver, so making do with a Phillips number 3, and it has not been the best thing for all those screws. And this washer is stuck, which is a strange thing to be stuck. That's been soaking in Corona along with everything else. You will come out of there. My ADD doesn't like moving on, my OCD, one of those acronyms. But we're gonna do it. This guy is not gunky goopy. He should come out relatively easily. Famous last words once again. In my haste disassembling everything, I took the spark plugs out, but I put them back in because I am taking everything apart, but I didn't think getting extra crap down the cylinders was, you know, into the top of the cylinders was really a good idea, so I stopped doing that. Alright, so all those nuts are out. Turn the book back around. Yeah. Remove the cylinder from the crankcase. It's just the next thing it says. That's fun. Let's see what Honda Man says. Oh, he wants me to get those other ones out too. Gather together. Towers and seals removed. The last step before removing the head consists of removing the 6 by 35 millimeter head seal bolts. 4 of them. 8 head nuts. 8 millimeter head nuts. 16 of these, which is those. And there's sealing washers, which I got all but this guy. So I do have to get those 4 out of there. He said to put a wrench through the side in between the fins. But Honda Man, I'm going to disagree with you on that one. Maybe it's different on a K, but on the F, on the F, that's not going to work. This does fit, however. Oh, no, it doesn't. Okay. What do we got going on? You can hear in the distance the sound of my wife's lawnmower starting up, which means she's coming in from whatever she's been doing. And I will probably stop doing this because she is infinitely more interesting than this, as you may understand if you're married. Yeah, there's no way I'm getting a wrench through there. At all. The fins are way too close. Alright, loud noise. Alright, I guess we're going to leave it there for today. I will fiddle with it more in the future. Ta-ta.